Today is April. This is fun for the day, and falls on me. April Fool's Day. So I don't know why I force myself to focus on that. It's kind of pranks and practical jokes and hoaxes and stuff. But fool, I started to focus on the word fool. Homies kind of use it in a generic way. Like they mean it like guy. Hey, I know that fool. They don't mean anything by it. Or once a homie I knew called his mechanic to check in on his car that was getting repaired. He said, "Hey, is Eric there?" The guy who answered the phone. He said, "No, he's at lunch. How about that fat fool?" And there was a pause, and the guy said, "Well, I guess you would mean me." He said, a homie once came to me, and he all happy. He said, "I got a job at White Memorial Hospital." I said, "Wow, what's the job?" "I'm the main fool at the gift shop." I said, "Well, check and see if there are any openings for assistant fools." So homies use that in kind of a generic way, but it's kind of an ancient thing in Christianity. There was, especially in Russian Orthodox Church, the holy fool. The holy fool was kind of a crazy person, or at least one who pretended he was crazy, because it was sort of the radical form of humility. It's like, it's not about me, it's about the truth, it's about the message. And they would kind of upset the apple cart and throw the monkey wrench into things, and they would speak truth to power, but they were, crazy. They'd long beard and butt naked in the common square, and they were just, but everybody treated them like, no, that's a holy fool. And a lot of that comes from Paul's letter to the Corinthians. God chooses the foolish to confound the wise. And it's not about wise person like wisdom, like we can kind of be positive towards. It's more about conventional wisdom. It's about, this is the way things should be, and it's always been like this. Or conventional wisdom cares about what other people think or what other people say. And so we're called to be wise fools in as much as we want to be free. We don't want to cling to what other people think about us. We want to somehow choose to walk in our own footsteps. I remember years ago at Camp Holton, it's closed now, but the kid was going to make his first communion, and he told me this when he arrived in our little classroom where we had Mass. And on his way over, it was rec time, so a bunch of guys stopped him, and they were trying to provoke him into fighting. They wanted him to fight this other guy, and a big circle was forming, and it's like, and the staff weren't paying attention, of course, and so, we want him to fight, and he stood there and he said, "Look, I'm not going to fight with anybody. I mean, I'm a man. I don't have enemies because real men don't have enemies, and real men don't fight. And besides, I'm on my way right now to make my first communion." So he looked at the guy they wanted him to fight, and he put out his hand and he said, "Peace be with you," he said. And the guy, go figure, shook his hand, Well, that's kind of a holy fool. It's like, I don't really care what people think. I'm going to choose to walk in my own footsteps. Years ago, I met a guy that I knew named Joey in a Target with his two sons hanging onto the shopping cart. And I hadn't seen him in a long time. He was here part of our 18-month program and found healing here, and he transformed his pain so he doesn't have to transmit it anymore, and he found resilience, and he re-identified himself in the world, and now the world, you could throw anything at him and nothing would topple him because of his 18 months with us. Then we found him a job that paid well, and he's doing well. So I always ask homies, do you hear from your homies, and do you go to the neighborhood, kind of taking the temperature? "Oh, no, I don't go to the neighborhood, and I don't hear from anybody." And then all of a sudden he goes, "Well, as a matter of fact, the other day, it was kind of curious. I got a phone call from a youngster, didn't even know the guy from my neighborhood. And he said, 'Hey, we're having a meeting Saturday night in this park. Everybody has to be there, all the homies.'" I said, "What'd you say to him?" I said, "Well, I'm not going to go to your meeting. I'm a man. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I work for a living. I'm not going to go to your meeting." And I said, "What did he say to you?" "He called me a punk." I said, "Whoa. And what did you say to him?" I said, "If I was a punk, I'd be going to your meeting." And as they say in game shows, good answer, So, A free person, a holy fool, doesn't let themselves be punked, doesn't care what anybody thinks. You choose to walk in your own footsteps because God chooses the foolish to confound the wise. And this is a place for 27 years that's confounded the conventional wisdom, that doesn't believe in second chances, that doesn't believe that somebody can turn the ship around, that doesn't believe that people are worthy and filled with dignity. And so let's choose today to be holy fools.
Really?